Recognize that chord progression? It's very popular. If you've listened to any popular music in the past few days, you've heard that chord progression. In fact, there is a video by a group called Axis of Awesome, and I'll put a link to this video in the description. And it's basically a comedy routine where they play through a whole series of songs that use that progression, and they go from one song to another seamlessly, and the audience is just amazed to find out that all these pop songs, many of them big hits, use this same 4-chord progression. So why is this progression so popular? Well, let's examine it. We're going to stay in the key of C. This progression starts on the 1. We're going to use the Roman numerals here. The 1 chord goes from the tonic very often, then it goes to the dominant, then it moves up to the minor 6 chord, and then to the 4. And then the 4 resolves back to the 1. And so basically you have the plagal cadence. One, 5, 6, 4, 1. Now, there are variations to this progression, and they use the same 4 chords. It might start on 6. 6, 4, 1, 5. I mean, you hear this progression in pop songs, you hear it in corporate music, backing commercials, you hear it in country songs. Everybody has used this progression at one time or another. I even must admit, as a songwriter, I've even used this progression. Be that as it may, it's very popular, but why? Well, one of the reasons I think this progression is so popular is it sounds complete. It's a loop. It ends with that plagal cadence every time, and so you're back at the beginning. It lends itself to repetition. And frankly, when it was first used, and I think the Beatles used it, you might remember that song, Let It Be. Now, the interesting thing about that song is that while it started with this very famous progression, Paul McCartney moved away from it and did some other stuff in the middle. A lot of these popular songs do nothing but repeat this progression endlessly, all the way through. Verse, chorus, bridge, the whole thing is 1, 5, 6, 4 or 6, 4, 1, 5. But it sounds complete. It's a loop. It also has an even number of bars, and so that just kind of sits right with your brain. 2, 3, 4, and then it starts over again. If you add a bar somewhere, it just doesn't sound right. Still sounds a little strange. Another reason that this progression is so popular is because it's easy to play. Now, if you're a guitarist, and I can't really demonstrate this on guitar because I don't play guitar, but if you're a guitarist, you could easily play this in the key of D. Most beginning guitar players know how to play D and A. All they have to do is figure out how to play B minor, and then they can play G and back to D. A lot of guitar players will also put the capo on and then play it in the key of E. Now on the piano, it's really easy to play. I've been playing it in the key of C, and you'll notice that I'm only using the white keys. C major, whoops, forgot how it went. C major, G major, A minor, F major. All the white keys. Now, of course, a good exercise for you would be to play this basic progression in all the major keys, but you can do that on your own. So what could we do to alter this very famous chord progression? Well, we could use some chord substitutions, for example. Instead of going from C to G, I'm staying in the key of C major, by the way. Instead of going from C to G, let's try substituting E7, one of our secondary dominant chords. Going to the 3 chord, but it's major, then 6, 4. Or you could use the 3 as a minor chord. I'm sure there are some songs that use this progression. Now, if you really want to get out there, well, maybe that's a little too strange. I went from C to G and then A flat and F. How about this? A minor, F minor, C, and G. Or we could even change the C to a C minor. Now we're in the minor key. Or you could change that G major to a G minor. It gets really sad. Of course, we could change the F minor to an F major. As you can see, you can play around with this very famous progression and make something unique out of it. So have some fun with this. See what you can come up with. Just play around on your keyboard, learning the chords, starting with the basic progression, or and see what kind of alterations you can come up with. I'd sure love to hear them. Or you can just write them down and put them in the comments section. That's one of the most famous progressions, and if you're a songwriter, maybe you could avoid this progression if at all possible, because if you've been watching my videos, you know that there are a lot of other progressions that you can use, especially when you master secondary dominants and some of the other fancier chords that we're going to be getting into in future videos. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, or if you come up with any different versions of this chord progression, you can leave those in the comments section. I answer every comment. I should say that I respond to every comment and I answer every question. If you'd like to support my work, you can go to my Patreon page. If you want to contact me directly, you can go to my website, athomewithmusic.com. I'll leave all those links below in the description. Thanks again, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next one.